to live.
Yes, live.
Live.
Welcome to the Ref Room.
Hockey talk for parents, players, coaches, and fans.
Text everyone you know. Facebook, chat, tweet, buzz, bling. I don't know. Just do what you have to do.
This is the Ref Room with Scott and Brad.
Come on, come on, come on. It's about to go down.
The Ref Room starts right now.
It is Wednesday. It is I, Scott Smokin Silz, along with my man Brad Baumruck. We are here, and hopefully Brad has his peanut butter and jelly sandwich ready to go.
You just
Maybe
can't,
two of them.
You can't leave it alone every week, can you?
What can I say?
I was forced to eat one this week, by the way.
Oh, wow.
So that was, yeah,
we
that
should
was,
have had a video of that because that's a first, okay?
No, we're good. So,
all right,
but
good.
anyways.
So it's Wednesday. We got lots to talk about. Our Blackhawks got a W last night, which was good to see. So they got back on track. Happy for them. A lot of stuff going on in hockey. We're going to cover some situations today. We got a couple other things we want to talk about as well. But we do have a special guest today. And our guest is coming to us from St. Louis. So, Brad, why don't you go ahead and introduce Andy? Andy has been here with us before, of course, but...
Yeah, very early on when we had very different technology, and
yes.
if you go watch the video, it's very bad. But anyways,
the audio was,
yeah. But Andy Hudson is the Central District Coordination Evaluator. Is that correct?
Evaluation coordinator, whatever. Sure.
Well,
got to coordinate.
So it's my understanding, Andy, that you're going to try to start coordinating between the districts what our development programs are in order to grow officials that are going to be grassroots officials, not people that are going to move on. We'll find those people as we go along. Is that the right understanding? Explain a little bit about what this position is, because it's a newer position in our district, from my understanding.
Yeah. Well, first of all, guys, thanks for having me, and it's good to be back. And I hope I do twice as good as I did the first time. I don't know about that, but right. So Shauki Brown, our referee in chief for the Central District, approached me about this opportunity to step into a role that was kind of in a void for the past couple of years. It's the Development and Education Coordinator. And so that's my new role. There's a Development and Education Coordinator for each district with USA Hockey. And really our main goal is to, develop and educate and evaluate the officials throughout our district. We've had such a successful time here with the Missouri Ice Hockey Officials Association for the past years, and really mentoring and growing some of our younger officials, getting them to level 2, getting them to level 3, getting them invested in the game. And so my hope is that we'll be able to spread that throughout the district. I know there's amazing things that are done in each of our states or affiliates out there, whether it's in Wisconsin or up with you guys in Chicago or out in the Midwest or down here in St. Louis and the Missouri area. So it's all about kind of bringing that together, breaking down some of those barriers, honestly, that are maybe between the associations and cooperating more, because we're all brothers and sisters in officiating. So if one place is doing something great, we should all be benefiting from it somehow.
Well, speaking of evaluations, now, are you guys doing evaluations this year? Have you started on them, or are you planning on doing them for spring? Because I know in Illinois this year, because we've been pretty quiet here, it's been a quiet year in terms of evals. I don't know if that's going to start up again in the spring or if we're going to wait till the fall. But what's your situation in St. Louis?
Yeah, it was really, just with this unusual year, it was really limited this year for safety reasons, as everybody can understand. So we actually kind of shifted our effort less to the core veterans that have been around for a while, and more to the newer officials, to making sure that they were looking after. And then obviously officials, like to Brad's point, that want to go further. We definitely have measures in place to evaluate them and measure their performance and give them opportunities. I was one of the supervisors out in Omaha this past weekend for the Central District playoffs, and man, was it a great time. Talk about charging the batteries up, and we had some great officials out there that worked really hard and provided a great, fair and safe environment for the teams, which is what we're all about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, Scott,
yeah.
let's update him though. Andy knows and everybody else knows. the 4 gentlemen that were coming in from Chicago, their car started on fire on the way out there. So it was a blessed weekend, I'm sure. But I heard that they got there on time, but there was no issues. So, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's good.
I got a video of it, and now it's on fire. Which I knew Andy was there, and I'm like, I think these guys are going to be a little late.
Yeah, they might.
Well,
be.
you know, I mean, there are. We've all been in dumpster fires on the ice, so they were just starting out their fire beforehand. Get that all out of the way.
Better to get it out of the way
the
early.
weekend's going to be great if that's how it starts.
Right. No doubt. But fortunately, they got there safely. Well, we have a great evaluation program here, and it's run by Dave Ballantyne, and we do a ton of evals here. So he does a great job with that. How is this different? Is this pretty much the same position in St. Louis as it is in Illinois? Or is this a different position where, like, you're in charge of all eval? How does that work now?
So, looks like Brad was getting ready to say something there, Brad.
Yeah, I was gonna say Andy's job. I can start off with the very basic part of it. The very basic part is he's going to coordinate with each state within the district in order to develop more officials in a more streamlined way. Because yes, we're all doing our own thing, but we all have really good ideas. And the one good thing is, like, I've known Andy so long, and I know who runs their development, which is my position down in St. Louis. And unfortunately, though, I don't know, like, the Wisconsin guys. I don't know who's doing it up there, but Andy's going to put us all together. And, nice. I don't know if he's gotten this far yet, but I'm sure he will, because I know him pretty well. He'll probably have like a monthly or bi-monthly meeting where we all kind of get on and discuss some stuff and discuss officials. And then Andy's got some other things that we can't discuss right now that he's got in the works, but I understand 100%. But it's to get all of our development together so that we're sending quality officials to our district camp, and then even further, the regional camp, which is now a different name, which is Futures, and national camp, because we all have really good officials. But some years in our state, or maybe Missouri or Wisconsin, we might not have anybody.
Really?
But if you have Andy there that knows who's everywhere in other states, he could say, like, let's say in Chicago, we don't have somebody to send to Futures, which, it has been quite a few years. Well, Andy might know somebody in Wisconsin, and they could send 2 people instead. Or there's a tournament going on. We need some people, like he was just at Central District's playoffs, which, Andy, can you explain Central District playoffs? Mm-hmm. Because I know what they are, but a lot of people don't. They kind of referee the year, the state championships happen, and they're over.
Sure. Well, Brad, everything you just said is 50% true. So, no, I'm joking. No, you described it very well. This is all about bringing people together and working with all the positive things that all of our different associations are putting together, and just putting the pieces together and sharing information, and really just doing what's right district wide for the officials. And yes, it's about the grassroots officials, but it's also about the officials that want to go further. And most importantly, it's about those younger officials to make sure they're coming back. But to your question about the Central District playoffs, so every district in USA Hockey has playoffs to determine who goes to nationals. And in the Central District, it was split up into 2 different locations. So the Tier 1 girls were up in Fond du Lac in Wisconsin. And the Tier 1 boys and Tier 2 girls were out in Omaha. And so the referee-in-chief out there in the Midwest affiliate, which covers Nebraska, Iowa, and Kansas, a guy by the name of Jordan Kroll, he was the referee-in-chief for that event. And several of us went out there to help him on the supervisory side. So myself, I dragged a guy who only has 7 more Stanley Cup Finals appearances than I do, Jay Scherer's out there.
Yeah, 7. How many do you have, Andy?
He saw the Stanley Cup one.
Just 7 fewer than he does.
Hey, I've never even gotten to kiss the cup. Okay.
Exactly. But it was a great weekend. So there was the 4 Chicago guys that came into town. We had 5 St. Louis representatives out there. We had 2 officials from Wisconsin. And then we had several officials from the Midwest affiliate, so Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas. And I got to tell you, we have talented officials in this district, really, really talented officials in this district. And I think we should feel very lucky because they're all coming in with a really strong understanding of hockey, keeping it fair and safe. And my favorite part about the whole weekend was on Friday, the teams are a little tentative. It showed with the officials. The officials were a little tentative. They knew they were getting watched. We could just feel it in the building. And we challenged those guys that night when we talked to them, and we sent them an email and we said, guys, bring your energy up, bring your enthusiasm and your hustle up. Let's show the games are going to get harder throughout the weekend. And our guys responded amazingly, guys and gal. There was one female official there. I don't want to forget about that, but they responded so well. And by Sunday, there was no doubt in those buildings that our officiating crews were under control. And I think the parents felt it, the coaches knew it, and it feeds to the players. When that's happening, the games go very smooth.
Yeah. Very nice.
All right. Did anything interesting happen? That's a question. A loaded question.
Regarding any certain official?
No. I mean,
No,
like
just
on the
in
ice,
general.
any weird situation, or did like a parrot fly in and get hit by the puck or something like that, or no? Game average.
These events are all about intensity, right? Because these players, it's the end of their season. In many cases, the games are, winner take all, loser go home. And so they're really intense games. And with that intensity comes, misbehaving parents, let's say. But to be honest with you, I was actually pretty impressed with the behavior of everybody. There were some parents that got a little rowdy on the first night of a couple of games, or one game in particular. But we handled it with our crew, and we just did what we did. Lots of times as officials, we can't control what's happening out there on the other side of the glass, and we got to do our best to keep the temperature low in the game. That's our main job. If we can keep the temperature low in the game, then lots of times it won't spill over into the stands.
Well, tell me something in terms of having a group of different officials coming in. Do you see the games reffed a little bit differently at the national level versus or at the regional level versus like a typical game? I mean, are you seeing more tightly called game, or is it a little bit looser? What's kind of the vibe that you're looking for with the officials that are at these games?
I mean, I always like to tell the officials, look, you got to get the four main categories of penalties, right? Deprive a scoring opportunity, turnover, blatant, or injury potential. We got to get those calls right. And I say, if we're getting those calls there and we're getting them right, then the coaches are going to understand and the players are going to understand. So we challenged our guys and gals, and we said, look, if it's a boarding penalty, or it's a checking from behind, or it's a charging, don't go and make up interference or call it roughing or whatever. Early in the tournament, set the tone, because these players are smart enough. Even these players at like squirt and peewee levels, if you call those penalties early, they adjust. They see it and they recognize it. So, and honestly, our first day was our face-off standards weren't very great on Friday. We were having a lot of encroachment, and we told them very succinctly that night, look, tell the players where you want them to line up. If they do not respond to you, eject to center. The very first face-off of the game that was a non-center ice face-off, our linesman ejected to center, didn't have any problems the rest of the game. And it's as simple as that. It's a center ejection. It's not that big a deal. Set the tone, do what you need to do, and the players will adjust.
Did Brad tell you to say that so that I could get on my soapbox about face-offs?
Go ahead.
I've been
right
on
ahead.
for weeks, man.
You know what's funny about it, Scott? I didn't discuss it with Andy at all.
Yeah, that's funny though.
Not at all. And I know that I've been at some events where some of my brothers and sisters, there's a lot of issues with face-offs, encroachment. Presenting the puck is a big one that you see a lot, because a lot of the officials at these events, they're starting to work junior hockey or NCAA hockey. And, those levels you present the puck, but USA hockey, it comes out from your belt.
Right.
And, the importance of that, a lot of referees don't notice it, is once you get to the national level and the district level, you're leaving your local association. and so are the clubs. So the clubs, if you're in a small area or even our area, sometimes you might see the same official 5, 6, 7 times throughout the season. So you get used to them and what they're doing. Well, if they're doing something totally different than when they get to their district playoff or nationals that the referees are doing, which is the proper way, you're now actually depriving those teams of their opportunity to have a fair face-off. It's not just about us. The reason we do it that way is so that I could be dropping, a guy from New York could be dropping the puck, and a female from California could be dropping the puck, and it's all supposed to be around the same.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be 100% the same, but the players should have that knowledge that, okay, it's going to come from here. I know where it's coming from. Well, when you have somebody then sticking it out and presenting it, and they're 4 inches from the ice, that's a different face-off at that point. So we've actually impacted the game.
Yep. No, it's a standard, and the standard is what we've been taught. But a lot of guys do adjust accordingly or don't adjust accordingly, I guess, because you do see guys present pucks. They have a tough time bringing it down from the waist, so they start presenting it. I'm not a fan of it. I prefer to come down from the waist personally. I just think it's a better face-off. But that's just my opinion.
I can tell you that at the higher levels of hockey, presenting the puck is the much better way to go because they generally don't hit you, and it actually makes for a better face-off competitive-wise.
Yeah. Well,
because it's not falling as far.
They know what's coming down, but yeah, I see that too.
Yeah. But to Brad's point about keeping it consistent and fair across all levels is there, and there's a lot of guys that won't understand that. Hey, why can't we present the puck? Why do we put it to our waist? But USA Hockey is dealing with players that are 3.5 feet tall to 6.5 feet tall, and they want it to be consistent across all of theirs. And we made that note during our pregame conversation or a pre-tournament conversation on Thursday before we got into the Central District playoffs, and everybody did great. Everybody brought it from their hip, and there wasn't any issues.
It's good.
I could see that. I mean, especially when you got the younger players, you have refs that are dropping the puck. They're practically above the head of a squirt player or something like that, bringing it down. Like, the kid's got to look like this to see the puck coming down. It's crazy. So, I agree with that 100%.
It's a standardization, just like high sticking is the shoulder. And above, it's not 4 feet,
right? Because
you're dealing with players that are 3 feet to 6.5 feet. That's a great way to look at it, Andy. By the way, I'm going to steal that from now on.
That's okay.
Never thought of putting it that way.
Yep.
But I get it.
Yes. Stealing is the best form of a compliment. Now, Brad, you mentioned earlier the Central District camp too, and
correct.
I'd love to be able to kind of share some information about that, if that's okay.
Go absolutely, because that's one thing that I'm trying to get some other, national news. But I know that USA is still working through some things right now, but I understand all that. But yeah, please share what the Central District Camp is, because it's still fairly a newer idea. It's over 10 years, I think now, but it's still fairly a newer idea. It didn't exist when I went to regional camp, which is now Futures Camp. See, this is what we need to have explained, because the national went and renamed all their stuff. And so you went to regional camp when I went, and I really didn't know what to expect. Like, there wasn't a lot of information about it. I do remember running every day and being up at 5 a.m. and going to bed at 10:30. And it was a very interesting week, let me tell you. But the Central District Camp, from what I've been told from the officials that go there, it's an excellent camp. And the idea is to I'll let Andy explain. Go ahead, Andy. Sorry.
Okay,
so steal your thunder.
No, steal away. You're right, Brad. It's an introduction to the whole USA Hockey camp system and structure, and the whole goal of the Central District Camp, which we're gonna tweak a little bit, and I'll give you that information in a second, is to really identify officials from the Central District that we have some opportunity for some growth. In the past 10 or so years with Uncle Bob Cunningham's leadership starting it out, it was really focused on those officials who are maybe 18 to 25 years old that might be working juniors or have the opportunity to work higher levels. We are with the agreement of our referee in chief, Shoutout, and our local supervisors from each of our 4 affiliates, and along with our lead instructor, Stephen Renault, who is the lead instructor for the camp. We are actually kind of changing things up this year, and we're changing the name of it. First of all, we're going to change it to Central District Officiating Experience, and there will be 2 different camps held within the same week. We felt like a Sunday to Friday format was limiting our attendance. A lot of people can't take the entire week. So what we're going to do is we're going to have on the front end about a 2.5-day development camp, and that's going to be for 18 and older. And it could be officials that are brand new, that are even 40 years old, that want to just improve locally, or it could be for an 18 or 19-year-old who's not quite ready to be challenged at the higher levels. And it's just going to give them a taste of what it's like to spend a couple of days in a camp environment. And then the second half of the camp, actually, it's a little bit longer.
Will they be running, by the way?
Days,
is that a running camp where you have to? I don't mean to interrupt, but do you have to go to the running class? Is that a running camp where you have to get up and run 2 hours in the morning, or can you go there and not have to run?
Well, we're definitely gonna modify the camp expectations based on the attendees. So
I asked because the 40-year-old guys may not want to go to run all weekend. Just I had to throw that out there. So. All right.
Right. So, sorry. But then the second part of the week is going to be our exposure camp, and we're calling it our exposure camp, and that's where we're going to bring in addition to Stephen Renault, and there Stephen's watching.
Yeah, Steve says yes, there will be running. So for all you guys that are 40 plus, you better start getting in shape now.
So our lead instructor is chirping you there, Skills or Smokin Scott, but anyways. But the second half of the camp under Stephen's leadership again will be more about the advanced officials that are looking to get exposed to higher levels and maybe be looked at to pick up for the NA3HL or USHL eventually. And we're working on some amazing guests to come in with some years of pro hockey, even NHL experience to come in. So we're really excited about it because here's the thing. We have lots of quality officials here, but the lion's share of our officials are doing, the dozens and hundreds, sometimes thousands of games out there at the middle to, high levels, but they don't have aspirations to go to the USHL. They don't have aspirations to travel outside of their area. But that doesn't mean that they can't improve within their grassroots area, maybe learn something new, bring it back to help themselves and also help their partners.
Well, Andy, is this a replacement for the district seminar, or will the district seminar still take place? Because I've actually gone to that a couple times, and I've had 2 different experiences with it. So it was a great thing. When I went there the first time, I learned a lot. Are you going to replace the district seminar, or are we still going to have a district seminar? And will this be open to anybody, or do you have to get a letter of recommendation from your referee in chief or somebody in order to attend this camp?
So this Central District experience is going to take place this year. It's in conjunction with the USA Hockey 14 Selects Festival, I think is what it's called, for the Central District. And it's there will be a seminar component to it, Scott. So people that attend will receive seminar credit. We're still kind of working through the logistical details of that. But this is more for people that want to get away, and you're going to either spend 2 nights or 3 nights in a hotel and get to learn some higher level stuff. But yes, there will be the seminar component to it. So attendees of either of these camps held under the Experience umbrella will not have to attend another seminar later in the summer.
That coincides with USA hockey camps as well. That's how USA does it. You get your seminar credit while you're there, and you get it in like June. But I get where you're going with it, Scott. The Central District seminar is different than this camp. So when you go to regional camp and national camp, once you get to national camp, you know what's going on. In the regional camp, I think it's futures camp again, and I'll have somebody else at a higher pay grade explain it another day. But when you go to these camps, I can tell you this: if you're not prepared, you're real noticeable real quick. So like I went and I wasn't the standout referee that I probably should have been because I wasn't running enough. That was one big hit at me.
Yeah.
I wasn't running enough. Well, I'm going to tell you after that, I ran always. Like there was no not running for Brad. Like Saturday morning, everybody be hung over from going out on Friday night after the game. And where's Brad? He's still out running. So it's a different experience. And, I know Stefan Renault that's going to run this for the district. And he's a great guy. I've met him. He's totally brutally honest with you the entire time that I've ever known him. He's a straight shooter. He's going to tell you what's up, but he's also super, super knowledgeable. And I've known him. It's been a long time now. He might remember better than me, but it's actually kind of funny that he's in here giving us a chirp. Now, I hate to interrupt. I have to plug my computer in. Somehow I pulled out the charger.
Oh, nice.
From the middle and the end. So,
all right.
Give me a second here.
So, what do you have to do to attend
pull
this
me
camp,
off the screen,
Andy?
will you, Scott?
I don't know if I can do that. I don't have it set for that.
Great...
So, just do what you got to do, or fold it over and come back in. That's all.
All right. So
we'll go with the blank
question,
screen on Brad here for a second.
We're actually developing a website for this camp and an online application opportunity. And that will be coming out here shortly in the next couple of weeks. So you'll have to apply for consideration. It's not just a sign up and attend thing. You have to apply for consideration. We're going to want to hear about some of your experiences. There are going to be references that we're going to ask for, whether it's your local supervisor or your local referee in chief. And so that application process will be happening here, opening up in the next week or so, maybe 10 days. And then the deadline for that will be sometime either later in April or the first part of May.
And how many people will be able to attend this camp, Andy?
So we're looking at as many as 24 officials, but it'll be broken up into two parts, so maybe 12 and 12. That's still kind of in the works as well. To Brad's point, this is where we want to bring young officials mainly, but also officials of any age, into the system and kind of give them a taste of what it's like to go to a futures camp. Because the last thing we want to do is send somebody to a futures camp and them go in there and maybe they're not realizing they have to do the runs. Their fitness isn't quite where it needs to be, or their rule knowledge or whatnot. So this gives people the opportunity to get a feel for what's like. And then if you show us what you got, then there's a good chance that you could be considered for the next step, which is the USA Hockey Futures Camp. So I'm really excited about it because we're revamping it, we're renaming it, we're going to do some social media around it. We really want to get the word out to our officials. So if you're an official out there who's 18, 19 years old and you've done this for a couple years and you enjoy it and you want to get more involved, definitely check it out and please submit an application.
All right. So my next question. I wanted to ask you about St. Louis. Did you guys have a state tournament there? Have you guys had pretty much a full season, or did you get state championships in?
Hey, it wasn't a full season, but we did have a youth championship called the Blue Note Cup championship here for the youth levels. We did have high school playoffs, and then we did have qualifying events for like the tier 1 events. And I'd be remiss to say if I didn't point out my hat here. This is the Blues Warriors. I know you guys have Chicago Warriors adult players up there, league. These guys, this has nothing to do with really what we're talking about right now, but I did want to point out that I was wearing the hat today because if you ever want to recharge your battery, go do something for volunteer, like with the Warriors hockey games. Go ref one of those, or a special hockey game or something like that. I tell you what. You go out there with some of these guys that are disabled or veteran members of our military, and you just have a great time, make some great friends, and they love having you out there. They'll yell at you like you're another referee, but then they'll pat you on the back on the way out. So,
We have a lot of charity
Yeah,
events here, and that's really special. If you guys haven't had a chance to volunteer and go out to do some of these games, we have for the hearing impaired, we have autism, we have cancer, we have all kinds of great programs here. Jack Razlowski and Steve Drews are blind. Yeah, Steve Drews and Jack Razlowski do a great job with that. That's kind of their baby. So,
Scott, you're failing to realize that we had a giving back episode.
Yes, we did.
It was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and somehow, with the sheer luck, we were able to coordinate, I think, 8 guests in a row.
Yeah.
We switched 8 times.
Went off without a hitch.
And I'm going to tell you, it wasn't a very good hitch. I'm glad we started that morning at like 10:45 of starting to coordinate with people, because we really didn't know, because there wasn't too much instruction with this software of how it
was
worked.
Brand new. The interview thing was brand new to us. So we learned the limits real fast. Like you can only have 4 at a time or 5 at a time, that sort of thing. So,
yeah.
But
and
it worked out great. Yeah, exactly.
There was a lot of texting and emailing going on while we were talking, but
yeah,
I agree. I think, Scott, definitely a reminder to us for next year when we get into November this year. Yeah. I think we should definitely do that again. That was a lot of fun.
I think so. It was very popular.
Yeah, it's a good one. Gaffney
says, well, shoot, I'm too old. Well, Scott, you just got to start running, buddy. And the only reason to run is if you're being chased, okay? Just remember that. When you get over 40, the only reason to run is if you're being chased. So we got another viewer who didn't click the link.
To be crystal clear, to be crystal clear, that these age groups that we're talking about here are kind of just guidelines. I mean, obviously, if there's an official that's out there that's doing fantastic, regardless of their age, we're going to look at them. But really, that target age group for that advanced group is that 18 to 25, 26, 28-year-old age group.
Okay.
And that's kind of the target that we're going to be looking at.
To my friends that are texting me right now on my phone, and you know who you are, because I can feel it going off. You all are way out of the age demographic that Andy's talking about.
Right. Yeah, I'm a proponent for getting the older guys in. I love seeing the older guys get into the game and stay in the game. So I'm a proponent of that.
But
everybody knows that.
And the reason we're having the camp, the first part of the week, is that there isn't going to be an age limit on that. Let me be very clear. That can be, a guy who started. We have a guy in St. Louis who started in his 50s, but he was a really good hockey player and he skates like the wind. And he's really done well for himself. Well, he's obviously doesn't have much interest and probably wouldn't get looked at to work the North American League as a 50-year-old. Let's just be honest. But he may want to improve himself so that he can take himself from the Bantam level to the high school level, or maybe he's only working line and wants to become a referee. So. That's what this is really all about, is serving more of our members, serving more of our officials, giving them opportunities.
Yeah.
Right. That's the same line that I
run
with
here. Let the trash
here.
talk begin here. Gaffney says Fisher is way too old and looked shaky at districts. Okay, you guys are just plain wrong. Okay, that's all I can say.
Remember, Gaffney's probably just mad because he had to ride in the car with Fisher to Omaha, and the car started on fire.
Who had to put the fire out is what I want to know.
I'm going to go with
have a couple bottles of water, or did you have to throw Gatorade on there?
They improvised and let nature take care of it.
Right.
Well, and
I don't think we can say it on
another
this show.
funny story about districts was we had the pre-event meeting at the hotel, and we were a little bit nervous when not that many people showed up. Well, there was about 12 or 15 guys that were in the meeting room at the hotel across the street. So they went to the wrong meeting room.
Well, it's like being a referee. You go to the wrong rink. I had 2 of them on my schedule. I just went to the wrong one. You're not a ref until you've done that before, okay? All right.
I'm sorry.
More trash. I heard Fisher's new skates hurt his feet. Wonder if his fingers hurt too.
Okay.
This is an unidentified Facebook user, by the way.
Yeah, somebody that couldn't click the link and identify themselves. So, it's just how they roll.
All right, guys, we're not using this. We're not using this show to talk trash, are we now?
If you have any questions for Andy, especially with regard to like getting into one of these seminars, post your questions into the comments section, and maybe Andy would be nice enough to answer a few of those, or if he can't get to them today, we'll send them to him and he can respond, or he can go back onto the reruns of the show, I guess you would say. So, we do have the reruns up there. Brian says
the highlights and the lowlights.
Highlights and the lowlights.
Reel.
Refereeing sled hockey is an awesome experience. Yes, it is, Brian. So, and thank you for doing
Brian,
that. It's much appreciated.
Brian, thank you for pointing that out, Brian. If you've never done sled hockey and you have the opportunity, do not pass it up. I mean, it is unbelievably fulfilling. Those guys and gals that are out there are working their tails off. Yeah. And I tell you what, the coolest thing about it for me, guys, is you take a knee after the game and 100% of the players skate by and give you a fist bump. And how often in the games that we work do you get 100% people saying thank you? So, whoa.
Uh-oh. There went the iPad. Didn't he?
Crash,
Scott, when he
bang.
was on last,
there we go.
When he was on last time, didn't he have a problem finding his computer charger? I was just thinking about that because that
wasn't me.
He's back.
The cat got it.
Fortunately, the screen isn't cracked, so it's all good, right?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
This is live. See, this is not recorded, guys. We do this live every Wednesday at noon. So anyway,
we definitely don't have time to record it.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to cover before you go, Andy? I know you kind of had to get out of here, and Brad and I are going to talk about a few other things as we continue. But you're welcome to stay with us if you'd like. But we are.
Yeah, I actually need to sign off because I have my real job that I got to work on. I wish I could talk hockey all day, but I just want to thank you guys for having me on. And this is a new position for me with the district, but the thing I'm most excited about is just getting to know more people throughout the district and taking all the wonderful things that we all do in our own areas and pulling them together and under one kind of umbrella and sharing ideas, because the more ideas we can have to improve officiating, the better it's going to be for everyone.
Max has a question. He said, where would a younger official go to get more exposure to make a future camp?
Yeah, so Max, I don't know what younger means for you, but definitely the Central District officiating experience that we were just talking about would be the great first step for you. It is only open to officials within our district, so I'm assuming you're within our district, Max, and you just look for that.
Max is one of our guys.
We're going to be posting information very soon, like in the next week or 10 days, and hopefully, and emails will be going out about it. So definitely check it out. And hopefully you guys can share it on your social or something once it goes out there too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just send it over. We'll post it on Ref Room, and we'll post it up on, we have two pages. We have the Ref Room, which is the group, and we have a personal page of mine, which is Ref Room. So you'll find us either way, and we'll be happy to post it in both locations. Andy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Scott, since Max chimed in, I pulled up to see how old he was real quick. And, happy birthday coming up here a little early. His birthday's coming up in a couple of days.
He's right in the age range you're looking for, too. So it's perfect.
And he has a twin.
Well, guys.
Yeah. Max skates like the wind on Leafs U18. See, he's got an endorsement already.
Right, Andy.
All right. Andy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Appreciate it.
Take care.
I didn't want to misquote how old he was and say that he was like 25, and I knew he was just a younger guy, Max, and I just couldn't remember exactly how old you were, so I had to pull up my notes and take a look. But happy birthday early. It's in a couple days, so we'll all be with you in whatever kind of stage of quarantine you're in. Scott, This is a new template.
Yeah, I just figured, I'd change it up a little bit. We're always doing something different here. So I didn't have one ready to go for 3. So, what can I say? A few things that we wanted to talk about, though. We wanted to
go
cover
right ahead.
Shootout Protocol, and we want to talk about pucks off of officials, goal or no goal. So we had a question that was posed to us on Facebook asking the question, can you score a goal if it goes off the referee? So I'm going to let Brad go ahead and answer. I know the answer to the question already, but, just in making Brad the expert here on this and letting him refer to his rule book if necessary, because,
I posted a response on
Yeah, I
it,
know.
and you know, you can't directly score off an official. Okay, so puck hits me, it goes in the goal, no goal.
Yeah. Player
Unfortunately,
shoots a puck, it goes off the referee's skate and goes into the goal. It would be no goal.
right. Unfortunately, I've had the pleasure of scoring a goal, and it
Really?
happened. It happened in our last year's playoffs, so 2020, and it was a semifinal game. And I'm over by the goalpost, licking it like I normally am, because I'm right up against the goalpost even during play. I know a lot of people are a little hesitant, but I try to get out of the way. Well, guy shot it, and it was like Moses parting the Red Sea. And it opened up, and all of a sudden, here comes the puck, and it hit me right in the shin pad.
Yeah.
And I am next to the net. It hit me right in the shin pad, and it went in. I was like, I hit the whistle. I was like stunned. I was like,
Yeah.
well,
Never
that's
had
a
that
first
happen before, right?
in 20 years. I guess, you know, luckily the two coaches were very understanding. There was no argument about it. I just went over there and I was like, look, it hit me. We got no goal. We can't call it. It went directly off me.
Yeah.
You know, I could see that being an issue with some coaches, but
Yeah.
what are you going to do? I mean, we're out there. I try to stay out of the way. I mean, but it happens. And then what was even weirder is I was working state semifinal, like U16, and it was like Sunday morning, you know, or whatever. And we're in like the third overtime, and I'm lining, and this guy rockets it from center ice, just past the center line, right where I'm standing. And I barely get out of the way, and it goes off the glass behind me, goes down the ice, and goes right past the goaltender and scores.
What?
Yeah, he just dumped it. He cleared it to dump it, and it almost drilled me. Like I felt the wind of it. Let's put it that way.
Nice.
And it went off the glass, and it went down the ice, and the goaltender tried to play it, and it went in the net. End of the game.
So
and the
it went
referee
all the way back down the ice, off the glass.
No, so he had just skated over the center ice, right?
Right.
He just skated over the line, so he's in his attacking offensive half of the ice, and he dumped it diagonally, like to where the blue line is, just so he could go. They were going to change.
I got you.
And he dumped it, and it went off the glass funny, and it came out, and the goalie went to go play it, and boom, it went in the net, and the game was over, and the referee immediately looked at me like, that didn't hit you, did it? Like I had just gotten hit the day before or something like that, or the weekend. And I'm like, I swear to God,
twice in the same weekend, you know?
Well, you know
After
how it
20
works.
years.
Like you know how it works when you fall, it comes in threes. You'll fall down, you might as well just get ready. You're going to fall down 2 more times in the next week. Or if you get hit by a puck, you know, you're like, I'm going to get hit 3 times.
Coming
like
again.
It just happens, but I'll never forget that. So it can't go directly in the net off the official. Okay, so the rule book reads, it's written really, really well. I wish I had it pulled up. But actually, you know what? I'm going to pull it up and read specifically from the situation manual on how it states. And I don't think it can be written any better. I know I put it on the on our website or on our Facebook.
You can go to the Facebook page, the group page.
I already got it.
And you'll be able to. Oh, you got it already. All right.
I got it. So you know, in the rules, it specifically states in 617C can't go directly off an official. So then you go into the case book, which is then situation 6. The question further clarifies of how it all works. So situation 6 reads, the puck is shot by either an attacking or defending player and hits an official. After hitting the official, the puck hits the boards, then rebounds into the goal. Is this goal allowed? So, according to the rules, yes. Rule reference 617C3. Then it has a little bit of clarification. No goal may be scored from a direct deflection off an official. However, if the puck deflects off an official and then hits any other obstruction, here's the key part, other than the goalpost or crossbar. So if it goes off of us and goes off the goal post or the crossbar and in the net, that's still no goal.
So let's say it goes off of us, goes off the goal post, comes out and hits the back of the goalie's leg, and now goes into the net. We have a good goal at that point.
You have a good goal. So it reads after the crossbar, including any player, the goal must be allowed. So they're basically saying it can hit us. It can't go directly in. Now, I'd hate to be the poor official that got hit by it and it went off the goalpost of the crossbar.
First off, just getting hit by it is bad enough, okay? But
but imagine that though. You're out there and the puck hits you in the top of the foot and it goes off the crossbar and in the net. Well, did it go directly off you? No, but it hit the crossbar. Like I get where the rule really. I mean, it had to have happened to some poor official. I don't think anybody thought of that part when they put that in there. But they're just stating basically, it's not going directly in, but you helped it get there 99.9% of the way. It went off the crossbar and the goalpost.
Yeah,
I think that's basically directly in. That's what they're stating. So if you ever get hit by the puck and it goes in the net, it's no goal. I wish you luck talking to the coaches. Some of them, like I said, are very understanding.
You'd be surprised. Some of the coaches are just great in a situation. I can't say I've had that situation, but they're great in a lot of situations. If you actually know the rule and you can state what the rule is and you can explain it to them properly, I think most coaches will be like, the guy knows what he's talking about. He probably is right. So you might need to be a good salesman at that point, but you're going to have to sell it.
Like I said, I hadn't had it happen to me ever, and I'm going to tell you, it happened, and I was like, really? Now, of all times this is going to happen,
to have it happen.
I'm like, unbelievable. And I over to him, I go, that's no goal. It went off me, and they were like, well, yeah, I didn't think it went in there naturally. I'm like, well. Yeah, because some stupid referee was standing there and hit him in the leg, and it went in the net. I still don't understand because I was next to the post. I wasn't in front of the goal line or anything. I have no idea how it ricocheted off me and went in, but whatever. It was a stunning moment, I'll tell you that. So
let's take this a step further, okay? So you've now had the tying goal, and now we are going to go to overtime. So let's talk about Shootout Protocol and 3-on-3 Protocol. Now, none of which are official in the USA Hockey rules, but we're starting to find more and more of this at tournament play and, league play, things of that nature, where we're starting to see overtimes and I mean, the big point of this conversation, going over the protocol is one thing, because every tournament that you're in or league that you're in, they have their own shootout protocol. Right.
I know that there's been some work to start more standardizing that, but that could be, maybe a little bit further up the road. The issue that we're going to bring up is during our games over the weekend, I received a very interesting phone call from an official. And they were getting numbers for the 5 shooters for each team for a shootout. And all of a sudden, they're standing at the bench getting the numbers, and a player from the opposing team skates down the ice, unobserved by both officials. They're both talking to the bench, I guess, and comes down and shoots on the goalie and scores, doesn't score. They don't know. They weren't looking.
So they haven't even blown the whistle to start.
No. The guy just went. No, they're not even.
I'm just going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were like, okay.
So what did they end up doing, and what is the correct procedure? I mean, we know the procedure, but the procedure hasn't been followed at that point.
Well, number one is, if you ever have something like that, you've just learned the hard way, and I explained to the official, you've just learned the hard way to not leave the puck on the ice. I go, I get that everybody knows we're going to do a shootout. We don't need to mark that. We're not doing a face-off. I go, if you have 4 officials, it's much easier to maintain. There was only 2 of them out there. So I said, just from now on, whenever you're going to have a shootout, pick the puck up and put it on the dasher. I go
idea.
because how is he going to shoot if
That's
the
a
player
great
can't
tip.
shoot it if it's not out there?
That's a great
I
tip.
go, well, so let's keep going. So after they turned and were like, what are you doing? Like the whole play went down and like nobody said anything. The team that they were standing in front, nothing.
Was this 2-man or 4-man?
Two.
Okay.
Two. So like they started cheering the team that supposedly scored. They were like, all right, now that we got this going here, did his shot count?
Did they give him the
Do we
goal?
take aways? No. They luckily they did not give him a goal, and there was a couple of officials a couple years ago that this same thing happened, and they scored and they counted it. And if you're not set up for a penalty shot or a shootout, you haven't started that play. That puck's not live. Let's all get that straight. So what they did is they said, no, it's no goal regardless. Well, some dad comes down with a camera. Well, I have it on video. And they're like, no. We have no video review, no use of electronic devices, which I'm going to give them a big pat on the back. They knew these things. And they said, all right, now, does he reshoot? Do we count it as a shot? Like, what do we do here?
I would say he would reshoot. I mean, at that point, nothing has even taken place. Do you give him an unsportsmanlike for shooting the puck after the whistle? No.
Well, so Scott, you got to remember again. So when you start to get to different leagues and stuff like that, if you in some leagues and tournaments and stuff, if you're penalized, you're not allowed to take part of a shootout.
That's right.
So just remember this. Just chalk this up to. It sounds like stupidity of the player. I don't understand why he would even go down and shoot it by himself, let alone, like. Haven't you ever seen a shootout? Like I mean, it's not whatever. He's just excited. Let's chalk it up to that. But yeah, they had the player reshoot, and they said, yeah, the guy scored on his reshot, and that was the only goal scored throughout it. So,
but you're supposed to give instruction to the players. You're supposed to give instruction to the goaltender. You're supposed to give instruction to the shooter. They get one shot only, no rebounds. You got to keep the puck moving forward. For the goaltender, you can't leave the crease until the player has touched the puck. We're going to go on my whistle, and that whistle should come from the official that's down low on the goal line, not from the official that's up at the top at center ice.
Absolutely, because when you're that down low official, that player's skating at you
at
an incredible rate of speed, and you're basically stationary. So.
And where do you want to stand if you're the low official, if you're on the goal line and you have a right-handed shooter, you want to shoot, you want to line up on the side of his shot. I don't know how do you explain that, but if you're a righty,
you want to land,
you want to be on the right side of him, basically, so that you're on his forehand. Does that make sense?
Sorry. No. Sorry.
You looked at me like I was crazy.
No. I was just getting something. I thought of something else.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you want to be on the forehand side of the shooter, meaning.
No, you want to be on the backhand side.
Huh?
You don't want to be on the shooting side of him. So like if he's coming down as a lefty, right? So you're looking at him, you want to be on the right-hand side. According to USA. Of the net. When you're looking back at him, you want to be on. So his stick is coming down. It's curved this way. You're standing over here. Because when you shoot, you come across your body.
Wait a second. Did I just completely misunderstand what you said?
Yeah. So, like, you don't want to be on his forehand side. Because when you shoot, you come across your body. And most of the guys are going to shoot it forehand. They're not going to shoot it backhand. So they suggest you stand on their backhanded side. So as a lefty's coming down the ice, right, he's coming at you. The stick is on the left-hand side of his body. You want to stand on that side, which is his backhanded side.
That's interesting.
Which is the right side of the net.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's what USA says. Now I can tell you this. Once you start working more stuff, you can stand on either side, whatever you're comfortable with. And I'll tell you, when I started working levels of hockey that had shootouts more prominently, I want to be on the side that is opposite of the benches, no matter what. I could care less about which way he's shooting. The reason is A, I don't have to skate by a guy that's celebrating as I'm switching sides in a 3 official system. B, I can still keep an eye on those benches, even though that player's coming in and shoots. Because you can still have problems during a shootout. The game's not over. I mean, it's like there's a story of many years ago of a tournament, and there was a 4-way tie. Have you ever heard this story, Scott?
No, I haven't.
So they had a 4-way tie, and at the time, what they would do is they still do this, but they would have the teams come out and do a shootout, like at a special time. So they bring all 4 teams out there on the ice, and they're going to do a 4-team shootout, okay? One of the teams figures out if they let team 4 score on them, but not the other, that it eliminates team 1 no matter what. So I forget how the whole story goes, but ultimately what happens is this all transpires, and as the guy comes down for the shootout, the guy steps out of the way of the net and lets him score. So, okay, so the other team goes, oh, no, really? They do the same thing. So they're letting these teams score because it's like a 4, somehow how it worked out in the statistics, right? Well, all 80 guys drop their stuff. Imagine being the referees on the ice with that.
Oh my!
That was a long time ago.
Was that a 2-man or 4-man?
I don't know. That was a story I heard from somebody on the East Coast, and they said, "Wow,
what a disaster that would be." Holy cow!
I guess apparently there were other officials there working the tournament. And they came out on the ice in street clothes, and like they had to break it all up. And it was a very interesting time, I heard. But yeah, that's a little interesting shootout story there. But yeah, I always want to be opposite of the benches.
Yeah, I know. Just going to any of the men's league, you go to men's league tournament or something, you go to Vegas or whatever. Everybody's calculating how you get to the position to make the weekend. So I can't imagine having 4 teams come out on the ice for a shootout. I mean, that would be, can you imagine even you have to get dressed to come out for a shootout? You're probably not even going to shoot. What do you have? 3 shooters that might shoot? Maybe 5?
5, maybe. I mean, hey, you know what? According to IHF rules, everybody'd have to get dressed. You could just have TJ Oshie shoot over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's
a good point.
Those rules are, other thing is, let's point this out. This is a tip for everybody. When you do have a possibility that there could be a shootout, and that, even though, let's say you look at it and it's team number 1 versus team 8, and it's predicted to be a 10-goal blowout, okay? If you're the referee, and the linesman too, I'd suggest this to anybody going on the ice. Bring a coin with you, because if it's like a big national event, the Nationals, they flip a coin to see who shoots first. And each league for shootouts, though, know who shoots first. Like the home team gets to choose.
The home team chooses.
It really depends on the league, though. But when you get to Nationals, because it's technically at a neutral site normally, they flip a coin for it. Make sure you have a coin. Like, the dumbest thing in the world
Can't go over and borrow one from somebody?
What? Could you? All right, think about it.
I don't have any cash. I'm sorry.
With this day and age, right? Imagine trying to find a coin.
Can you flip Apple Pay?
No, but I'm just saying, when you have that, there's all things that you need to think about, before you go on the ice, overtime. Like, is there an overtime? Do we go directly into a shootout? Do you need to get the numbers? Some leagues you do, some leagues you don't.
Yep.
Can they shoot the same shooter 5 times in a row?
Yeah, all things that you need to be aware of, even at the tournaments, guys.
And this is just how it goes. Like, it's part of our job. I know that we're out there to referee and have a good time on top of it, but we do have to know quite a bit and be conscious of what's going on. So, Scott, other than that, it wasn't about protocol. It was more to share an embarrassing story.
Yeah,
and make sure that nobody
stuff happens. I mean, stuff happens out there. If you do this enough, you do enough games, you're going to have strange circumstances. Something is always going to be a first, and it might be a first for everybody that's in the ref room or the locker room, and it's just the way it goes. You want to talk about 3-on-3? Any protocol tips you want to give for 3-on-3 play?
No, I don't want to get into any of that.
Okay.
That's so league based, and because everybody's 4-on-4, and
Yep.
what we can talk about real quick is if we do have a 4-on-4 overtime situation or a 3-on-3 overtime situation, and you have a penalty,
Right.
right?
Be putting more players on the ice, or
So in 4-on-4 hockey, if you have 2 penalties, right?
Right.
They don't play 4-on-2.
No 4-on-2.
No 4-on-2. We can cover this real quick because this is a little tip. A 3-on-3 hockey, if you have 1 penalty, they don't play 3-on-2.
Nope. It becomes 4-on-3. You put a guy out
it becomes 4-on-3 and 3-on-3 hockey, and it becomes 5-on-4 in 4-on-4 hockey. And you continue until the stoppage. Once the stoppage happens, you reset to whatever the overtime procedure is. Just a little tip out there, because I've been on the ice before where it has happened, and I fortunately knew what to do, but my partner looked like a deer that he saw on the side of I-355 in the middle of the night, and was like, "What do we do?"
One that got hit with the headlights on.
What do we do? I'm like, "We're gonna play 5-on-4." He's like, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, but it's 4-on-4." I go, "I know."
Yeah.
I go, "But
we're gonna play 5-on-4 at that point.
We gotta keep it within the rules." I go, "We're not gonna stack these."
Right.
And I go, "So
4-on-2."
We're not gonna play 4-on-2. Like, just thinking about it, like, I get why people wouldn't understand it.
Yeah.
But just thinking about it from a logical standpoint, that's the biggest thing too. Whenever you have something weird happen, try to go at it from the logic standpoint. Most of the time, common sense works out pretty well. Speaking of weird stuff, I was refereeing at one of our local ice arenas many years ago, and somebody left the overhead door open for the Zamboni outside overnight. And when we are in there, there were all these birds flying around in the rink, and one of them relieved itself on my partner.
You dropped a bomb on me.
Not me, my partner got it. And,
okay.
And he was like, "What do I do?" I go, "I don't know." I go, "But we're going to wait for you while you go wash that off." Like, because, we don't need to get sick over this, but I thought that's the most interesting thing I've ever heard. Like, and the birds were singing in the arena. Like,
I have
it was
actually
very
seen
weird.
Birds in the arenas before, a couple of them. It's not totally uncommon. So it's been a while, but more so years ago, I guess. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I guess we're going to have more hockey next year, guys, because we have a couple new divisions coming in. Squirts are going to have squirt minors. So it won't just be squirts anymore. It's going to be squirt major, squirt minor, very similar to what Pee-wees and Bantams and everybody else does. So you'll be playing within your own birth year, I guess, instead of that 2-year spread. So that's going to be different. Karen just chimed in. Let's see what she said. Hi, Karen. How are you? My understanding is there can't be less than 3-on-3 on penalties. You can't have less than 3 players on the ice, 3 skaters, that is. Which brings me to something else that I wanted to actually have some fun with. We need to do a few minutes one day on all the things that only make sense to hockey. Like 3-on-3, but there's really 4-on-4 on the ice because you have 4 people out there on each side. You have the goalie. But, we go 5-on-5. Oh, coach, it's 5-on-5. Well, it's not really 5-on-5. It's 6-on-6.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's also
cycle. Where's the bicycle? I don't see any cycling out here. What is this cycle?
Cycle the puck.
Yeah.
Cycle
top
it.
Shelf. There's no shelving unit in the arena. Where is the top shelf?
You're getting into hockey
bar
terms.
down. You mean the bar is downstairs or the bar is upstairs? Where is the bar located here? It's bar down.
Oh my God.
Strong side, weak side. What do? Put all your strong guys, they have to lift some weights to go over on one side of the building, and that's the strong side. So
strong
you go weak side, you go to the guys that can't pick up the weights.
Hold on, strong side, Scott. That's a football term as well.
Okay. All right.
So that one, I get where you're going. I totally get where you're going.
What's a grinder? Is that a term from Tinder, or is that a guy that has like a machine and he just grinds everything up?
Well, You're talking hockey terminology, which there's a great little
off wing.
article.
Is there an on wing or is there an off wing? I'm curious. How about square up? You get it like a T square out there and you level everything up. Is that square up?
I totally get where you're going with it, Scott. But think about
dangle.
this.
What are we dangling? Are we dangling something in front of the player? Like we're gonna dangle?
I can't.
Flow.
Are you feeling
flow?
okay today?
Are you flowing okay? Yeah. How about breezers? What is a breezer?
Tackle us technically, but
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And tackle is
And
not
you
even
walked
around
him.
anymore.
Do you put a leash on him when you walk him, or do you just let him walk freely?
I totally get where you're going.
A spinorama, is that like a swaporama and you just now it's a spinorama? I mean,
well, Scott, think about the unique part of hockey is, well, it's the only thing other than figure skating played on ice, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they do ice racing.
well, curling.
I guess.
There's curling.
They're curling. Okay, that's not. Sorry, that's not too unique then. But what other sport lets you change on the fly?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you really got to think about the sport is way out. We do. I get why people are very confused from the outside.
Yeah. He went
Because
backdoor. Was there a different entrance I didn't know about? Like sauce. What kind of sauce did he have? Was it hot sauce? So if you guys think of a couple more of these, throw them up. We'd love to have some fun with that. But I been wanting to do that for a couple weeks. I had to come up with a couple of these terms because there's so many good ones.
I'm gonna grow my hair out so I get a sick flow. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to grow it a lot to get a flow. Okay.
I know. Yeah.
Get that Minnesota hockey hair.
No, I'd never be as good as those high school guys with those hairstyles, man. They're way out there.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen the Facebook videos on that, but that guy did that for a long time, and then he stopped, and it was so popular he had to bring it back again.
That's what I heard.
So we probably should have had a new edition of that recently. I didn't see one this year. Did they have the Minnesota hockey here? Because nobody put it up on my Facebook or anything. So
I honestly don't know.
Tim says bar down, eh? Yeah, bar down. I thought the bar was upstairs.
Johnny's, it is upstairs.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. Anything else you want to cover before we call it a day?
No, but I'm going to tell you this. Thanks for not telling me that you were going to go through hockey terms because that was funny to me. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm glad. I appreciate that. I thought we'd have some fun with that. But, hockey terms are great. I mean, you have to understand the sport to know what anybody's talking about. It definitely has its own language. So, all right, guys.
Hoser.
We thank you guys for watching and checking us out. We do this every Wednesday. Now, I do have a verbal confirmation. I told you last week Kevin Delaney was going to come on the show this week, but Kevin got tied up with the Hawks. He told me yesterday, but he is coming on next week. We are going to have him for sure. He confirmed with me. I hope he did confirm, but Kevin Delaney will join us next week. So we're going to look forward to that. We're going to learn a lot about ways to improve your skating, player development for the coaches, things that you can do. I mean, there's just so much. The guy is the power skating coach for the Blackhawks and the Ice Hogs. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. Kevin's got a lot of personality. He's a great guy. For those of you that don't know Kevin, he's a fun guy, and I'm sure we're going to have a great conversation with him next week. So we do this at noon every week on Wednesday.
Join Scott Smokin, Silz, and Brad Baumruck every Wednesday for Ref Room.
It's hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans.
Join in the fun every Wednesday at noon. You can check out the replays on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. That's the Ref Room every Wednesday with Scott and Brad. Two guys that love to talk hockey.
And that is what we do. We love to talk hockey. So we could stay here and just BS all day long.
You got to stop springing new stuff on me. You got to let me at least get a little prep, because then I'd be like, wow, that's really great, instead of doing it on here.
Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. All right. Well, you guys have a great week. Stay safe out there. Have some fun. Pick up an extra game, although it's a little quiet right now. Easter this week. So happy Easter to everybody. Happy Good Friday, all that stuff. So it's a little quiet. And then I think it's going to get pretty crazy, because I could tell you that I saw one of the coaches, I'll just say DJ LeVar. I saw him from Loyola the other day. And he said, normally they play like a 10-game season for gold. They're going to play 14 games for spring. I think Maroon is playing 10 and the JV is playing 12. So a lot of the teams are playing more games for spring. So get ready, boys. Buckle up your seatbelts because it's going to get crazy again for about 6 weeks.
Yeah. And think about this, Scott. Seminars are a couple months away. So is registration, which, by the way,
it's hard to
if
believe.
you didn't finish your stuff,
you're out of
no
luck.
longer
you're
certified.
SOL. Yeah, you're.
But if you were in the process,
year.
well, if you were in the process and you're waiting for your screening, if that was already filed and everything before the midnight Mountain Time on the 24th, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's still going to go through. I know somebody that just got theirs that just went through the other day. So
how long did those take towards the end when they got busy with all the other sports being opened? I mean, when I got mine done at the beginning, it was only like 3, maybe 4 days, something like that.
Yeah, mine was 2 days. I did it the first day that it opened, and it was 2 days. And the person that just got it done, it was a little over a week. And what was really interesting was they received their crest before they even received the email of the screening. But the reason was he didn't check his spam folder. So it's not like anybody didn't do their due diligence. It was in his spam folder. He got his crest in the mail, and he's like, where is this screening? It was in his spam folder. He got it a week later. The crest got to him in like 8 days, I guess, or 10 days or something.
Yeah.
He said it was super fast to turn around.
Yeah.
Credit all goes to USA Hockey on coordinating all that.
I'm sure they got slammed at the end there because, a lot of guys got back in and,
That has to be just absolutely insane. And you know what? When I did mine, it was very at the beginning, and I got it all back, and it went to my spam folder because the person called me, and I'm like, "You wouldn't have gotten your crest if you didn't pass the screening." I'm like, "Here, search this in your spam," and that's where it was. So if you're looking for your screening, look in your spam folder. That's my tip of the day.
Where everything is that you can't find. It's in the dark hole down there in the spam folder.
Right.
All right. So, for those of you that just came in under the wire, congratulations. Welcome back. You'll be busy for the spring. For those of you that
can't wait,
did all that work and didn't finish, well, hopefully we'll see you next year. I hope there's not too many of you guys that didn't not complete, but it is what it is. People get busy and they get tied up. So we'll leave you on that note. You guys have a great week. We will see you next Wednesday at noon. It's the Ref Room, Scott and Brad. Don't forget you can support the channel by going to buymeacoffee.com/refroom. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Ref Room. If you have an idea for an upcoming show or guest, hit us up. Just email us, refroombrad@gmail.com.
Okay. And with that, we're going to leave you. Have a great week.